Number 23. When we last had occasion to deal directly with those behind this plot, it was within a conference-type situation. At that time, they were informed that there was full awareness of what their plan was set to accomplish. They were told that it was a futile attempt, but it was their choice to continue on in their chosen path. Inasmuch as free will is the loose cannon of the universal plan for evolvement, there was nothing we could do. Now it has reached the point at which their plan is indeed a threat, not that it could ever attain their desired goal of a negative universe/galaxy. It can, however, create unimaginable chaos. Do not take this information lightly. It is indeed a serious situation. This is not the fault of the inhabitants of Earth, it is just that this was the planet with the consciousness and physical manifested body type to fit the most ideal criteria for their plan. This is not the first time they have tried to overwhelm your planet to use it and humans for this purpose. It was a long time ago in your sequential counting. They were far advanced then in their technological gadgetry, but did not understand humanity, which allowed them to be repulsed. Unfortunately, humanity chose to use force to do so, and in that way buried within their psyche the belief that force was the way to solve any encroachment upon their perceived freedom. In a way, it married you to them through this perception. This time, they believe that the earlier error in understanding their foe will not be repeated, for they have studied you well. Every weakness is known and is being exploited for their purposes. However, their focus was upon inducing your cooperation rather than resisting them until it is too late for you to do so. They carefully laid plans to overwhelm you both sensually and physically. In particular, they have emphasized safety over adventurous risk except within military paradigms. So you have insurance for all risky portions of your regimented life. You have your addictive paycheck system to depend upon, along with social security. Notice it is always capitalized right along with your references to God. Even omnipresent Satan clause is capitalized. Your heroes are all well-paid sports or movie stars. How adventurous are these? Your movie star heroes are drugged and adulterous in open display along with your presidential movie star. Remember, if you can be held at the lowest level of your dimension, you cannot take advantage of the dimensional leap at the shift of the cycles, but can instead be taken to an even lower level of vibration. At that point it is their intention to separate the soul energy from the body. They have no intention of putting it back into another body. It is the energy that they plan to use as power in the transformation of the chaos they intend to cause from positive to negative. They believe that the lower the vibration, the nearer it is to the still point, thus making it more malleable. All of these theories have been reached by attempting to study creation through the process of following its steps backward from manifestation to creative impetus. Fortunately, there are many miscalculations in their plan. But not enough to avoid creating great chaos indeed if their plans progress much farther. Here again we are faced with the great stumbling block of free will, the key ingredient in both bringing this situation into existence and causing it to self-destruct. This magical key is held by the consciousness of the beings on this planet. The consideration of the situation from the above point of view allows for it to seem to be a very bleak future indeed. Enter the view from the other side, that of creation. This view is adventurous, opportunistic, and positive. It moves not upon long and exacting plans, but within a fluid and expansive mode. It moves within a creative stance that allows for enhancement of individual and collective experience rather than suppression and destruction. Remember the picture of the pond. The other side must control the ripples from the outside in, while we may cause them great problems of containment by using just one small pebble, one idea continuing thought focused on creation. We have here two opposite modes of movement within the totality of creation. Now, looking at the big picture, on which side would you place your bet? It is not that our side does not have some problems to resolve, it is just that we have the innate natural expansive consciousness that harmonizes with the intended life experience. Even though the conscious awareness appears to be mesmerized into sleep, how does one bring a hypnotized person back to consciousness? Is it not a snap of the fingers? But must that trigger be previously programmed? Not necessarily. Their planned trigger is the sudden mass realization of overwhelming control, an emotion they plan to feed upon with great enthusiasm. So, we have been busy triggering this realization in a slow and steady manner so as not to alert them to the damage that is being done to their planned trigger. Remember the 100th monkey theory? It is a slow and increasing dawning of understanding within the mass consciousness until a critical number reaches an awareness of a new concept and all know. Guess what? We are disarming their trigger. Are you aware of the awakening happening now? You were hoping for sudden realization while we were implementing the opposite. We are planning surprises of our own. It is indeed rewarding or fun as you put it, to be on the winning side and know it, Now is the time to begin preparing the step in the process of a new focus for the awakening awareness of your planetary inhabitants. A new paradigm of experience. How fast must it move into the fray? Don't sweat that for a minute. Just do your part and all will come into play right on time. Once the first crack in their plan is complete, things will pick up in momentum. Just remember that we are hardly impotent. It is just that we must play the game according to the rules that ensure success. Not so for our opponents. Keep in mind that the Creator must retain all of his fragments, even those that are our perceived opponents. He cannot stop caring for any part of the whole of his being. Note that we use the masculine within this information when referring to the Creator. It is just that creating is an attribute of the masculine focus, while the womb or ability to contain the creation of the masculine function is considered the feminine attribute. Through this we have the depiction of the masculine Creator and the Mother Earth. Indeed it is balanced in wholeness of experience. We would prefer that the women of Earth would come into this understanding and find their balance within it soon. May these glimmers of understanding be blessings indeed, as you continue to fulfill your commitments within this wondrous event. Keep on keeping on. Number 24. It is within the scope of the information to bring through the basic framework of the underlying movement of how we may assist you to spearhead the ripples of change that will spread outward through the mass consciousness. Remember that when the pebble is first cast, the first outward ripples would seem quite inconsequential, but in the moments that follow, they move outward in ever-widening circles. This process works when the waters of the pond are still. The mass consciousness is indeed mesmerized into stillness through the methodology employed by the planners of this situation. That does not include ones involved in skirmishes of war, but when the totality of the billions of beings upon the planet is considered, you must remember there are many who are not reached by the media communications and are unaware of any of this drama. Therefore the surface of the mass conscious awareness remains quite still. This is the reason that it is imperative that we accomplish our goals to interject our changes within the individual awareness of key individuals now. It is the slow and undetectable change of thought patterns within each individual that comes into contact with this knowledge, that is the underlying foundation of our building process. The talk radio programs as well as the supporting data available on the internet are making an impact with additional printed and visual material for those who have yet to understand and process the wake-up information more completely. This format is reaching countless individuals who have this within their conscious and subconscious levels of mind. Their degree of denial on the conscious level does not matter at this moment in the sequence of events. The information is there to be remembered when some item of news or event in their experience will trigger the remembering of it. The internet reaches around the planet and the mushrooming of interest in available information is a measure of the thirst for this knowledge and is a small indication of what is going on. Please note that had one of the talk show hosts indeed stopped his involvement, there was backup present and already in operation. Volunteers are given opportunity, but backups are standing by not only waiting, but already in position. Ours is not a slapdash poorly planned operation. Just as the opposition has focused energy to lay their plans and to implement them, this was not unknown to us. In the observation of these, there were plans in readiness so that any possibility to end their endeavor at earlier stages was possible. Indeed, a chess game of great magnitude has been in progress for a very long time in your counting. Now we are down to the final moves. The understanding of this basic framework of the plan involves seeing your part in the initiation of this phase as being within the first pebble. To bring change to a mass consciousness involving billions of individual points of awareness by a small group of focused group awareness is indeed a tiny pebble. It is the focused aspect that makes the difference, especially when that focus is in harmony with the underlying purpose of the Creator. As that focus encompasses a larger and larger group, the pebble becomes larger and larger. Just because it has reached the surface of the pond of mass consciousness of those inhabitants of the planet, it has not yet reached the level of the surface of the pond of awareness of the planet herself. The level of awareness of Earth consciousness is a whole new ballgame, which has never been explored by the humanity in this sojourn you refer to as the current wave of planetary civilization. It was known and understood at what might be called priestly levels long ago, but the information was not disseminated. Just as there are what you call beings of awareness that have transcended third-dimensional experience and who are devoted to the task of assisting you in this process, so also are there foci of awareness that serve in that purpose at the planetary level. Those are fully aware of this situation and have not yet brought their influence to bear. What you perceive as influences involving Earth herself, are as yet just normal reactions to distorted patterns brought forth by the extreme misuse of your home base. If the action within the mass consciousness does not bring about the desired changes, then a pebble of different origin will ripple that conscious pond, and indeed there shall be movement on that level which will not be kind to the inhabitants. Unfortunately, that level of awareness is oblivious to individual humans, and so all shall experience and survive, or not, those events by their own intuition as to placement and movements within the events as they occur. It is still possible to bring about the reversal of planned misuse of the inhabitants and the planet without that level of involvement. As you can see by following the messages, there are multiple levels of involvement in this situation, and we have but barely scratched the surface. It is not planned to overwhelm you with information, but only to bring forth that which will serve your understanding that you are not abandoned, but are supported fully so that the opportunity to transcend through the cycles may be fully available. It is not necessary that all of humanity be given this information in order for them to participate at this moment in your timing. Most would not even consider it. It is for those that are open to it and find comfort in knowing that their efforts are acknowledged and supported. Most have moved on with their assignments without knowing why or how to accomplish them, but have taken advantage of opportunity and kept going because there was a knowingness that it was what they had to do. That is courage indeed, which does not go unrecognized in the final accounting of this endeavor. Blessings to all that read and consider this information, for it is given in the focus of love within that which is the source of this opportunity through experience. End number 24.